Have you ever stumbled upon something so ordinary that it turns out to be extraordinary? Something that's been sitting right under your nose, collecting dust, holding a secret you never could have imagined? Today, we're diving into one of those stories. It's a tale that starts in a cluttered attic with a dusty box of old family photos and ends with a discovery that rewrites history. This isn't just about a picture. It's about how a single, forgotten snapshot can connect us to a past far grander and more astonishing than we ever thought possible. Our story begins with Randy Guiaro, a regular guy from Fresno, California. Back in 2010, Randy walked into a local junk shop, one of those wonderful, chaotic places filled with forgotten treasures and decades of memories. He was just browsing, looking for something interesting. He ended up buying a box of old photos and documents for just $2. $2. Inside, among a collection of unremarkable family portraits and faded landscapes, were 3 old tintypes. Tintypes, if you don't know, are photographs made by creating a direct positive on a thin sheet of iron coated with a dark lacquer. They were popular in the 1860s and 70s. 2 of the photos were just simple portraits, the kind you'd expect from that era. But the third one was different. It showed a group of people playing croquet in a rustic countryside setting. It was a lively scene, full of action and personality. There was a big wooden house in the background, people laughing, leaning on their mallets. It was a captured moment of joy and leisure. Randy found it charming, a nice little piece of Americana. He took it home, put it on his wall, and for a while that was that. For 3 years, the photo hung there. A quaint $2 find from a junk shop. But something about it kept nagging at Randy and his wife, Linda. They'd look at it, really look at it, and wonder who these people were. One day, while examining the photo under a magnifying glass, Randy noticed something incredible. One of the figures in the croquet game looked familiar, unmistakably familiar. He had a prominent Adam's apple, a distinctive nose, and a look of quiet intensity. Randy's heart started pounding. He grabbed a book, flipped through the pages, and compared the face in the photo to a well-known portrait. It couldn't be, could it? The man in the picture looked exactly like Henry McCarty, better known to the world as Billy the Kid. Now, hold on. This sounds like the plot of a movie, right? A guy buys a $2 photo and thinks he's found a picture of one of the most legendary outlaws of the American West. It's a long shot, to say the least. At the time, there was only one single, universally accepted photograph of Billy the Kid in existence. It's that iconic, slightly goofy-looking portrait of him holding a rifle. That photo alone sold for $2.3 million in 2011. The idea that a second one existed, let alone was found in a junk shop, seemed impossible. This is where the real journey begins. It wasn't enough to just think it was Billy the Kid. Randy and Linda had to prove it. And so began a 5-year odyssey of relentless investigation. They became detectives, historians, and forensic analysts all rolled into one. Their quest for the truth would consume their lives and their savings. First, they had to identify everyone else in the photograph. If this was really Billy the Kid, then some of the people with him should be his known associates, members of his gang, the Regulators. Randy and Linda spent countless hours in libraries, archives, and online, poring over historical records and old photographs. They cross-referenced faces, clothing styles, and family trees. Piece by piece, they started putting names to the faces in the croquet game. There was Charlie Beaudry and Tom O'Fallard, both known members of the Regulators. There was Sally Chisholm, the niece of a powerful cattle baron, who was known to have sheltered Billy and his gang. The evidence was mounting. But identifying people wasn't enough. They had to pinpoint the exact location and time the photo was taken. The photo shows a distinctive wooden building. What was it? Where was it? Randy and Linda studied the architecture, the landscape, even the type of wood used. The research led them to Chaves County, New Mexico, a known stomping ground for Billy the Kid. They learned that in the late summer of 1878, just after the brutal Lincoln County War, there was a wedding attended by many of the Regulators and their friends. A wedding hosted by the Chisholm family. Could this croquet game have been part of the wedding celebration? The puzzle was getting more complex, but also more complete. The timing fit perfectly. The location seemed right. The people in the photo were all connected to Billy the Kid during that specific period. The biggest challenge, however, was proving the man himself was there. This is where modern technology came in. Randy enlisted the help of facial recognition experts. They used sophisticated software to compare the face in the croquet photo with the known, authenticated portrait of Billy. The software analyzed every detail: the distance between the eyes, the shape of the jaw, the curve of the brow. The results came back with a match. It was a significant breakthrough, but still not the final, definitive proof the world would demand. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence came from a very unexpected source: a weather report. A historian helping with the case found a diary from that area in 1878, which mentioned an unusual, unseasonal month of rain in late summer. This rain would have made the ground lush and green, just like it appears in the photograph. This tiny detail, a record of rainfall from over 100 years ago, added another layer of authenticity to the story. The final piece of the puzzle involved locating the exact spot where the photo was taken. Randy traveled to New Mexico with a team of experts. They used the photograph as a map, comparing the background hills and landmarks to the real landscape. They eventually zeroed in on the former site of the John Tunstall Ranch, another key figure in Billy the Kid's story, and there they found it. The faint outline of the foundation of the old schoolhouse seen in the photo. The placement of the creek, the slope of the land, it all lined up perfectly. They had found the physical location. After 5 years of tireless work, thousands of hours of research, and spending their life savings, Randy and Linda Guiaro finally had their proof. They had an ironclad case. They brought their findings to Kaggins, a renowned firm specializing in Western Americana and rare coins. The experts at Kaggins spent an entire year conducting their own independent, rigorous investigation. They vetted every single piece of Randy's evidence. And in the end, they came to the same conclusion. The $2 tintype from the Fresno junk shop was, in fact, the second ever confirmed photograph of Billy the Kid. It was taken in the late summer of 1878 and showed the infamous outlaw playing a friendly game of croquet with his friends and gang members. The photograph was authenticated and valued at an incredible $5 million. Think about that for a moment. This single image completely changes our perception of one of history's most notorious figures. We know Billy the Kid as a ruthless gunslinger, a cold-blooded outlaw, but this photo shows a different side. It shows him relaxed, enjoying a game with friends, being part of a community. It shows his humanity. It reminds us that historical figures aren't just one-dimensional characters in a storybook. They were real people who lived, laughed, and yes, even played croquet. Randy Guiaro's story is more than just a lucky find. It's a testament to the power of curiosity, persistence, and the belief that incredible discoveries can be hiding in plain sight. It teaches us to look a little closer at the old things we might otherwise dismiss. Who knows what secrets are waiting in your own attic, in a box of forgotten family photos, or on the shelf of a local junk shop? The next unbelievable discovery could be just one curious glance away. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey from dust to discovery. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more amazing tales from history, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. What's the most amazing thing you've ever found? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring.